Welcome to the Highbury Squad. You can follow us on Twitter at Highbury Squad. In fact, it's the same on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and eventually iTunes. Join me, Sophie, aka at Soccer Diva, Amanda, aka at GoonerGirl1969, and our very special guest, Super Kevin Campbell. It's just like being down the pub with your mates.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Highbury Squad. We've been buoyant over the last few weeks. Dare I say, Casey, Amanda and I have been in a pretty good mood, but after the weekend, I'm not sure us Gooners are smiling as much as we were. We are joined today, however. Wait, before I introduce our special guest, allow me to introduce the podcast squad. PG, welcome to the show.
It's lovely to be back. I haven't been on for ages. So, yeah.
You've been busy in stuff.
I've been busy being a mum to my child who wasn't well. So, yes, I'm back.
Okay. And, of course, we're joined as ever by Super Kevin Campbell.
Hi, Sophie. Hi, Amanda. Great to be back on and get the whole squad together.
Right, let's get ready for this therapy session, shall we? I'm sure there's going to be a few soapbox moments as well after the performance against Crystal Palace. Let's bring in our special guest, ex-footballer. He's the host of Weekend Sports Day on TalkSport from 7 to 10 a.m. He's also the presenter of The Breakdown. But more importantly, he is a tactical expert for the Premier League. And if ever we needed a tactical expert after that performance against Crystal Palace, it can't get any better than having Mr. Adrian Clarke on the show. Welcome, Clarky.
Thanks, guys. No pressure then, hey? What about that for a build-up? Thank you, though. I appreciate it. Great to be on with you all, especially Super Kev. Reunited after all these years. Great
all
stuff.
These years, Clarky. Good to well, I see you at the Emirates sometimes, don't I? So it's nice to share a pod with you, mate.
Exactly.
Oh,
right.
So nice.
I know. What a lovely little love. Wait, did you guys actually, you weren't in the same squad together at one point, were you? Am I being daft here? No.
No. I was a bit younger than Kev, but
yeah.
Yeah, but we played together. I think
Clarky came up into the reserves at the time. He was a good player.
We could use you both right about now, to be honest with you. So let's just get stuck into it, shall we?
Yep.
Adrian, one of the burning questions for all Arsenal fans, before Casey and Amanda jump in, there's always this post-game argument of whose fault is it? You know, we're a team. We live and die on the sword as a team. But obviously Mustafi is getting absolutely killed right now by Arsenal fans. Emery's come out and defended him. People have been very angry with Emery for his selection. They think if Torreira was on the bench, he's fit enough and should have started. Who got it wrong? Did Emery get the team selection wrong, or did the players let him down?
Yeah, straight in there. I like it. I think if Unai Emery had another go at it, he'd definitely pick a different starting 11. He'd probably go with a different shape as well. I don't think it really worked with El Nini and Guendouzi. A lot of hair inside the engine room, but not probably enough creativity between them. But that wasn't why Arsenal lost the game. Defensively, they were very slack, weren't they? Obviously, from set pieces, it was a bit of a mess. But in terms of what went wrong in the first half, it's a few things. There was obviously a massive lack of movement, but the main issue for me was out wide with the wing backs. They were just on their own. They were isolated, and they were well catered for by Crystal Palace's system. They had our wing backs pretty much sussed, and they had nobody to link with. Very much on their own. And what happened in the second half when he switched it around to 4-2-3-1? We basically had a couple of players each out on the flanks. All of a sudden, the combination play began to click. There were more angles found, and Arsenal began to slice through Crystal Palace. But of course, at the other end of the pitch, they couldn't keep it tight. So no, I definitely think that Unai Emery probably missed a trick with the team selection. Look, when you change two subs at half time and the formation, I think that is an admission really from the head coach that hang on. I didn't really get this one right.
Adrian, I've been arguing with Sophie about this since the minute the game ended. Okay, now this is my take on it. We've had a lot of games to play in the last, we've played Napoli, Everton, Watford. It's been non-stop, then Napoli again, then Crystal Palace. My feeling on it, and obviously you being both of you ex-players, let me hear me out and let me say what I've got to say. I'm convinced that Emery thought the team he put out he could beat Palace with, and he didn't want to use those subs. You don't know if they were fatigued. You don't know who's got knocks from Napoli. We don't know anything. He was with the players from Thursday night till Sunday. He would know. I'm not saying any of them are injured, because if you're injured, you wouldn't be on the bench. I just think maybe he thought, let's see what happens here. I think we can win it with this team. If we can't, I've got the subs on the bench to bring them on. Now, everyone's arguing, not everyone, there's quite a few, it's 50-50 at the moment on my Twitter. People are saying to me, no, you play your best team first, you get the win, and then you bring them off. But maybe they weren't just fit enough to play. You know, I remember a long time ago with Cazorla, he wasn't fit and Wenger played him and actually ruined him. So I'm wondering if they just weren't right for 90 minutes. Now, I know what you're saying. I was at the game, I watched it, I was appalled by everything. Guendouzi, at the beginning of the season where everyone was raving about him, and I said it on this pod, let's give him a chance. You know, everyone's putting pressure on him. I don't think he's brilliant. I think he's got potential, definitely. He's a young boy playing in that team. Those two cannot play together. I never want to see them playing together. But when I saw the team as I was walking into the Emirates, I thought, oh, God. But maybe he thought that team could beat them. Do you think he got it wrong, as in he made a massive mistake? Or do you think there could be something in what I'm saying about fatigue, knocks? We don't know if they could have played for 90 minutes.
Well, he knows better than us who's feeling tired. I mean, Kev knows this. Footballers always want to play, or they always used to want to play.
Yeah.
Maybe the modern breed are a little bit more sensitive, perhaps, than from our day. We missed Aaron Ramsey. We missed a central midfielder to make those forward runs, to join in with the front three. Basically, I think the selection screamed out, let's leave it to the front three to do the business. Ozil, Aubameyang and Lacazette. But what we lacked was that movement around and the combination play runners to create a bit of unpredictability. It was just all a bit slow, too ponderous. It's not a combination that I think we'll see a great deal again, Elneny and Guendouzi. But the reason we lost this game, I repeat, the reason we lost this game is because we were appalling on set pieces. It's as simple as that. Obviously, Mustafi mucked up massively for that simple goal. The second one for Zaha, and the other two were from corners. And they're basic errors that Arsenal made. If you haven't seen the breakdown that I've done on this game yet, I mean, the first one, the last one, Torreira was obviously picking up Scott Dan, which is just borderline ridiculous, really. Somebody needed to take responsibility to switch over and say, okay, Elneny's gone off. You're not marking Scott Dan. I'm going to do it. So that's what should have happened for the third goal. The first goal, Mustafi gets himself into a bad position, I think, to mark. Jenkinson plays everybody onside, and Benteke has a free header. They're basic errors. Kev will know this. That's nothing to do with Emery. That is down to the individuals on the pitch losing a bit of focus and switching off at a key time. And that's the reason we lost.
Absolutely, but I need to pick you up on something. The first goal wasn't a corner. It was from Mavropanos acting like a twat, pulling his shirt for no reason. That's exactly where I sit, right in front of me. He did that. And we all went ballistic at him. What is he doing, getting a yellow card and doing that? And then obviously the goal led from that. And yes, you're right. Yeah. The breakdown is exactly as I see it. I don't understand Mustafi, and I never will. And I'm sorry, he's not good enough to play for Arsenal. At the moment, I feel a bit torn. I just feel Emery thought he could beat Palace with that team. Bring on the subs if they need them. But again, we've got a big game tomorrow night at Wolves, haven't we? So it is endless at the moment. That's the problem I find. But Kev, can I ask you a question? In anything that I've said, do you think there's any substance, or do you think he just chose the wrong formation, got it wrong, and brought the players on when he had to?
No, I think there's some valid points you make, Amanda. I'll be honest with you. But remember, the manager he tried this system against Everton, and it never worked with Guendouzi and Elneny in the centre of the pitch.
Definitely.
And Crystal Palace are better away from Selhurst Park than at home. They've went to the Etihad and beat City at the Etihad. So you really got to play as best a team as you can.
Of course.
I think he got a little bit complacent by picking what he picked on the day. But when you look at when you actually break the goals down, as Adrian said, the first goal was from a free kick that comes in, and Benteke's onside, and is being played onside by Jenkinson at right back. So that is a coaching point where there's no way the fullback should be deeper than the centre backs. That's why Mavropanos and Mustafi in the middle have got their hands up thinking the fullback can't be behind us, so he's got to be offside. But he wasn't, he was onside. So that's one part. Obviously, when Arsenal don't start well, it's very difficult to give teams goals head start. It's very difficult. And I know Arsenal's home record has been fantastic, but you just can't take liberties. And Unai Emery should have learned this in that Everton game. You can't take liberties. So if Torreira is fit enough to be on the bench, he's fit enough to play. That's as far as I'm concerned. So I would have rather Torreira started, and then you could take him off at half-time when you're up in the game. That's another point.
Yeah, I think what happened, Kev, I think what happened is he thought, you know what, Wolves away on Wednesday, Leicester away next Sunday. I need Torreira for both of those.
Yeah.
Don't know if 3 games in him. So I think we can get away with leaving him out of this one. And obviously it's a move that backfired, but it's easy in hindsight, isn't it? But I think that's what his logic was. We can disagree with it, obviously, and it's easy to do that now. But yeah, I think that's where he was coming from. It's just a shame that at the same time we've got Xhaka out, we've got Ramsey out. The central midfield's been decimated, hasn't it? Really,
Adrian, where is Xhaka?
Hold on, sorry.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry. Do you know what this actually highlights?
Yeah.
This actually highlights the squad ain't good enough.
Yeah.
And we've said that all season, haven't we?
Yeah.
The actual squad isn't good enough.
And that's
could
not
Maitland-Niles have
Emery's
done
fault.
a job in there?
No, but yeah, you guys, here we are. Okay. And it's so interesting because at the beginning of the season, nobody gave Arsenal a chance. Everyone had us finishing 6th. Some even had us finishing 7th. And now we've got ourselves in the position to qualify for Champions League, and we're in the semi-final of Europa League. So, of course, fans have been elevated with excitement. They've been elevated with hope. We went on that amazing run in the last quarter of last year, and we've overachieved, if you like, for a club that's come out, Adrian, of the dark years of Wenger and what that kind of did to the culture of the club, the fan relationship, and even the players themselves. You talk about players like Jenkinson, who I felt had no right playing at the weekend. Maitland-Niles should have started that game, but you talk about how he's coached them up. Do you think this criticism and the sky is falling after one game from Arsenal fans who really should kind of try and keep things in perspective, even myself trying to keep things in perspective, that he's not done a bad job and he's inherited a bit of a mess? And so the fact that we're up for these, 2 important spots right now in terms of 4th and the semi is quite an overachievement for us.
Yeah, but look, no one's perfect. No one's ever going to, not everybody is going to love the decisions of a football manager. It's as simple as that. I think he's done a great job. I think he's a massive asset. I really do. And I do think that he's taken the team forward. Now, I like him tactically. I think he tinkers too much. That would be my one criticism in terms of like game on game. We see different formations, different 11s. That's slightly frustrating, but he's got a great eye, and I think that he's very aware from a tactical perspective. And in that regard, we're definitely lucky to have him. The problem for me is definitely personnel. I don't think there's an issue with Unai Emery's coaching. I just think that defensively, a year ago, we were all sat here. We knew that Arsene Wenger was to step aside. And I think a lot of us were thinking, right, this is an opportunity. are the defensive players simply not good enough for Arsenal, or is it to do with the coaching? Now, we were often told, they're not getting enough coaching. Well, we're fast forwarded a year. There's definitely a little bit more organisation, a bit more discipline about the team. But the bottom line is the same individuals are making the same mistakes. So the answer to our question, I think, is pretty clear. And that's that we should really be looking to upgrade the defensive positions. Their manager is not someone that I would be looking to bury after one home defeat to Crystal Palace. I think he's doing a good job with an okay squad, but certainly not one that I expected to have more points than we've got now. They've definitely got more points than I expected them to. So, I've got no issue with Emery at all. What I want to see from him now, and I think what a lot of Arsenal fans want to see, is a little bit of ruthlessness in the summer. He's got to just be hard and say, right, you, I'm moving on. You can leave the club, and hopefully he'll bring in some upgrades. And then I think we'll start to see his team develop.
Well, can I ask you a question with regards to a few players? What's happened to Xhaka? Is he badly injured?
I genuinely don't know. No, I've seen the team news for the Wolves game, and I think he's in contention. So,
right.
So no, he's obviously been carrying something for a while. But yeah, he did okay, didn't he, in the previous game? But I don't think he was quite fully fit. So no, I think it was a precaution. I honestly believe that he looked at the Wolves and Leicester games and thinks they're tougher than Palace at home.
That's what I meant. Yeah, I agree with you, Adrian.
We've lost that one now, so there's real pressure. But the upside is, look, Torreira will be fresher, Maitland-Niles will be fresher, maybe Xhaka will be back. So fingers crossed. Look, if we play like we did in Napoli, we'll probably go to Wolves and win the game. So,
but you know what's interesting? What you said, like losing, but because Tottenham lost and Chelsea drew and United lost, we've actually got away with it. It's still in our hands. You know, Chelsea are a point above us, but we've got a game in hand, which is tomorrow night. And yes, we know Wolves is going to be a tough game. It's actually going to be an excellent game, I think. But yes, the formation who playing. But it's funny how Xhaka's so important to us now, where people were screaming for his head at the beginning of the season. You know, I think sometimes fans are, you know, a bit quick, and I think this social media is not happening. You know, when you and Kevin were playing, I was sitting at Highbury. We used to talk to each other, go in the car and go home, and that would be the end of it. You wouldn't have endless hours of discussion about why Mustafi's in the team, or, you know, what is Emery doing, and
didn't have social media, you know, I'd have been battered.
But I think every player gets battered, don't they? They have one good game and they're lauded, and then they have a bad game and they're absolutely slated. I mean,
on Xhaka, Guendouzi's got loads of potential. I think he's a good player. Probably had too many games this season, considering his age. But you look at Xhaka and compare him to all the central midfielders, I think he's right up there. I think that Xhaka is a very good passer. He's not very good defensively, but he's good on the ball. You've got Torreira, who's the little rat who goes around winning everything, and you've got Ramsey, who's the box to box guy. So we've got three really good options with Guendouzi. It's just sod's law, isn't it? That two of them have been out at once, and the other one is obviously unable to play 3 games in a week for some reason. Torreira, So yeah, I don't think it's a crisis. I really don't. But honestly, this Wolves game is a concern. I think we've got to be so much more switched on defensively, so much more resolute than we have been on the road. If we play like we did against Everton,
my God, yeah.
Honestly, we'll get soundly beaten, and that's a bit of a worry.
And it's such a worry to begin with. We're travelling to Wolves, and Arsenal Football Club are not the favourites to beat Wolves. And I've got a question for you, players especially, because there's been a lot of criticism over the last few days and continued arguing between Arsenal fans. But 2 players who I think should be lauded and focused on. One, I think, is a miracle. The other has probably been one of the signings of the season. Leno has saved us not only from maybe losing 4 or 5-2 to Crystal Palace this last weekend, but he made some great saves against Napoli. He's done it, I think, throughout the season. and Koscielny, who I wrote off. I think most Arsenal fans wrote off after his last injury. You guys played the game to come back from an injury like him at his age. Start with you, Kev. I'd love your opinion on those two players, in particular Captain Kos, and how important he and Sokratis and Leno will be in this away game at Wolves.
On Koscielny, I think Koscielny, when you get older and you start picking up injuries, it takes longer to get yourself back into a rhythm. And it's not as if he had a lot of time to be playing under 23 games, because that won't get him right. He had to really be getting back into the team. He had to come in and make mistakes, and some people are saying he's finished and stuff like that. But class is permanent, and I think he's proven to quite a few Arsenal fans that he still has something. He still has something to offer, especially besides Sokratis. I think them two together are as solid as we can get right now, and I thought their performance in Napoli was outstanding. And we look a lot tighter when them two are playing together. So, fair play to Koscielny to get himself back fit, and he's played a couple of games back to back there, and he hasn't broken down. So rested, for the next couple of big games that's coming up. And as for Leno, we weren't sure at the beginning of the season. Obviously, Petr Cech was playing. Leno was coming in for certain games, and then he's kind of got himself in, and he's made that position his own now. You could see he feels confident, and he's making some really big saves. I mean, going back to that Tottenham save he made at Wembley, I mean, that was world class, and he produced some stunning saves. On Sunday to keep the score down, or else Palace would have been out of sight at the Emirates. So, two guys who are doing their utmost to try and lift the football club, which is really welcome.
Yeah, definitely. I think he's been a bit of an unsung hero, Bernd Leno. Not that many people have been talking about him. But yeah, he's been sort of 7, 8 out of 10 most weeks, hasn't he? In those games where we were conceding loads of chances, he definitely saved the day. He's a great shot stopper. You can just see the speed. Petr Cech is still got lots to offer, even though he's retiring in a few weeks' time. He's still a very good goalkeeper, but it is the speed. You can see it, can't you, the difference between the two guys, the younger man. As for Koscielny, I think here that prior to his injury, age was catching up with him, and he was carrying a lot of niggles and other problems that were slowing him down, that was affecting his form. What I think's happened is he's had the big injury, which he's fixed, but during the time off, all those other niggles have kind of cleared up as well, and it's as if being out for so long has given him a lovely little breather at just the right time in his career. It might be that spell out of the team could add another season or two to his career. I'm surprised, but when you actually think about it, and I've heard on the grapevine that this is what's happened with him. So yeah, it's definitely been a pleasant surprise, and I'm absolutely with Super Kev on this one. Koscielny and Sokratis are the best two defenders. I'm looking forward to seeing potentially those two alongside maybe Rob Holding in a 3 next year, or even better, a big, proper, stellar centre-back signing to maybe strengthen in that area. I definitely think we need a centre-half.
So going on to that then, how do you see the top 4 finishing? Come on, tell us your prediction. I think 1 and 2 are pretty obvious. It's going to be City or Liverpool, but 3, 4?
Well, it pains me to say it, but I think Spurs are going to do it. Looking at the games.
No, we want all 4, top 4, Clarky. Come on.
Well, I think even though Man United have been awful, I think they might get something against City. So I'm actually going to go with Liverpool to win the league, City to finish second. I think Spurs will finish third, even though it's horrible. I hate saying it. Just looking at their games, and I think we're going to nick fourth. I really do, and then it'll be probably Chelsea and Manchester United after that. So fortunately for us, Chelsea are fragile at the moment. that no one's happy there. The Sarri ball's not really clicking. The fans don't like it, and I just can't trust them to get the results. United, I don't know what's going on there. They've hit a bit of a wall. So I think we'll stumble our way over the line and get fourth, which is job done, isn't it? I'll take that.
It would be, I think, but do you guys, and I'm curious to know what all three of you think, because at the beginning of the season, for a long time, we had to hear, and we've continued to hear, and I'm not wearing my Arsenal rose-coloured glasses here. I try to be as fair as possible. You know, the lauding of Tottenham, and I think them getting to the Champions League semi-final has probably added to that a little bit. But Adrian, when you look at where we're at, Kevin, Amanda, in the league, are we really that worse off than they are? Have they really been that much better than us?
I don't think so. No, I think Arsenal are where they should be, competing for top four. We've got absolutely no God-given right to be in the top four. You look at the money Man United have spent; they should probably be above Arsenal. Spurs have kept a settled team for a number of seasons now, and they've challenged for the title, so they'll expect to be where they are. Chelsea they've got pots of money. They've got world-class players in their squad. So no, I think we're doing really well to compete with them. And I think even though we've got the stars in the forward areas, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Ozil, you look at the rest of the side, particularly the defenders, it's on paper, we're weaker than the rest of the big six. So I think the reason that we should be quite satisfied with where we are is because our squad isn't quite as strong as our main rivals. And for that reason, I think Emery deserves credit. I think he's definitely brought us forward. You only have to look at the points tally. We're already bettered what we achieved last season. And you think about some of the points we've thrown away, it could be an awful lot better. So yeah, no, I'm really, really pleased with how it's gone. And even if we do miss top four, I don't think I wouldn't regard this season as a complete disaster, not at all.
If we miss top four, do you think that the Europa League has our name on it? Is that it's not going to be easy? It's a tough competition to win, but it feels like if we can win Europa League, for me, what an amazing first season for Emery. And if there's one trophy that he can win, that's the one.
Yeah, it's his trophy, isn't it? So
I'm almost in tears talking about it.
I'm emigrating. If they win that trophy, I'm emigrating.
We haven't got to that one yet.
Yeah, well, it'd be nice if Chelsea were to get knocked out. I would definitely fancy us to beat Valencia over two legs. And look, Eintracht Frankfurt or Chelsea, I'd back us in a one-off game. I don't know what Kev thinks of Sarri, but I've been really disappointed with him this season. I think his tactics are pretty much the same every week. You know what he's going to do. I don't think there'll be any curveballs. I'd be worried about facing Eden Hazard in the final, of course. But as for the rest of the Chelsea side, I don't think there's anything to be frightened of there. So no, I actually think we've probably got an even chance of finishing top four and winning the Europa League. I don't think there's one avenue that's more likely than the other at the moment. I think we could easily do both.
Clarke, I agree. I ain't worried about Chelsea one bit. We've beaten them convincingly before. We should have beat them at their gaff. So I'm not bothered about them. The only issue that I have is that we defend properly. If we defend properly, we beat anybody. Even when the Napoli draw got done, I was saying we'll beat Napoli. Because as long as we defend properly, we can win these games. Because teams are scared of our firepower that we've got. You know, the teams are scared of that. Will we finish top four? I said we wouldn't at the start of the season. I still think we've got a rick in the bag somewhere along the line. I do. I would love to be proven wrong and say, fantastic achievement. I do think Unai Emery's taken the team forward. He really has. And Do I think it's going to matter? Look, we're about winning trophies. We want a pot on the side. So we need to win that Europa League. Getting to the semi-final last season, getting knocked out by Atletico Madrid, that hurt. And, we need to go one better this year and get into the final and win it. So I think we will. I think we can, and we will.
Give me a choice all day long for top 4 or Europa League. You're choosing the Europa League. You have to. I think any support would. It's all about creating those memories, isn't it? And I'd love to see them finish the season. Was it in Baku, isn't it?
Yes, Baku.
A trek for the fans, but what an adventure that would be if we could go there and win. And it's definitely possible.
So, Adrian, what I was talking about before was emigrating. If that lot down the road even get to the final, I don't even think I'll cope. But if they win it, okay, and then just say that we win the Europa League, it's just going to take the gloss off, isn't it? It just so would. It would.
Let's not worry about that. Look,
I'm not. Listen, I'd love to win the Europa League.
It's pretty unlikely. It's pretty unlikely.
Amanda.
It's been... Listen, Kevin, you told me that City were going to beat them.
No,
they can't have that day out. They can't have that day out.
Kev.
It's going to be worse if it's a Spurs-Liverpool final.
Not for me, it's not. Very easy. I'll be the biggest scouser on the planet. I know it will. You'll have to be a bloody scouser that night. A red scouser.
I tell you, jeez, I can't even want to admit it, but
my God, you'd have to be a red scouser that night. That'd be
Red Nose John's going to bloody love that if it happened. Jesus.
Red Nose John would. Red Nose John would take you to the final with him, Kev. You'll be on the
know. Jeez.
Oh my God, let's not even go there.
Let's stop this insanity because Adrian, at the end of the day, just promised me one thing. They will not have that day out. I don't even want them to have that day out. They can't get to the final. We don't want them to know what it feels like to get to a Champions League final. Tell me they will not have that day out. We'll get you on this one.
Can't promise you that. Sorry. Now, look, Ajax, brilliant. Hope they stay brilliant, but it's definitely a possibility, but would I fancy Spurs to beat Liverpool or Barcelona? No chance. Absolutely no chance. I mean, even buzzing right now, Tottenham fans, but they've lost twice in a week to Man City. They lost both games. So, and I think they'd lose to Barcelona. I think they'd lose to Liverpool. And let's just all hope and pray they lose to Ajax. Just for the
hey, Clarke, let's not devalue Ajax here. By the way, they've knocked out Real Madrid, the champions, and they've knocked out Juventus, who were the favourites. So I'll tell you what, their name might be on it.
Yeah, hope so.
Oh, I hope so, Kev. From your mouth to God's ears. I hope Ajax pull off a Porto, and they have this thing about them where I think they believe their name might be on the trophy. It's going to be tough no matter who they face in the final, but as I said, Spurs cannot have that day out. Mr. Adrian Clarke, who can always have a good day out as far as we're concerned. That was absolutely brilliant, and we really appreciate you coming on the show. Love your tactical prowess and the way you break down games, and you're always a voice of reason for Arsenal fans, and you try not to make people panic, but you're always very authentic and honest in your analysis, so we really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you. Yeah, I love doing the breakdown. Obviously, it's quite time-consuming to watch the game back in sort of real detail, but hopefully it's worth it. And actually, little nod to the club as well, that they give me a free rein to produce it all myself and to... they don't make changes. I think I could count on the fingers of one hand how many little lines they've changed during the time that I do it. Per season, they very rarely touch my script. So they're all for an authentic breakdown. Even if sometimes it's not pretty or it's not what we want to see, they do give me rein to do that. So yeah, I'm very lucky to be able to do the analysis, and yeah, it's a great gig. I love it. Hopefully it will continue.
Do you ever need a little assistant with you?
Exciting, Amanda. It wouldn't be very exciting, I promise.
Here we go. Yeah. It would be exciting if I came and assisted. I'll tell you.
You bet your life it would.
Oh, my goodness. Hilarious. Good stuff, Adrian. Good stuff. And
Thanks
you
for
know
your
what?
time, mate.
Yeah, good stuff. And maybe next time, you'll come on. Hopefully Ozil will still be an Arsenal player next season. I hope he stays. And
we've got to find a way to make it work. He's our most creative player, our most gifted, most inventive player.
Yep.
We've got to find a way to make it work, and I think that we will. Been a pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, it's so
Thanks,
lovely
Adrian.
podding
You're
with you
welcome, Clarke.
again.
Cheers, mate.
It's lovely. Bye, Adrian.
See ya. Bye. Bye.
Bye, mate.
The lovely Adrian Clarke there joining the Highbury squad. Good stuff from him. His tactical analysis, I think, it's easy to laud people like Gary Neville on Sky Sports and stuff like that. But these guys at club level who really break down games, and I liken it as well, Kevin, Amanda, to the NFL Network. These guys who watch the NFL Network, they sit there for hours and hours and hours and watch these games back. And what they do, they provide an intelligence now to an audience that is craving much, much more kind of football intelligence. And Adrian's a really good guy doing that.
I do.
Yeah,
he's great, isn't he? He's really, as he said, he's authentic. He's not bought by the club. He can say what he wants, and everyone should listen to his breakdowns. I've never really disagreed, with him. So no, it's great.
Right. Listen, Amanda, I know you, Kevin, and I have been going at this in WhatsApp a lot, and I know you really wanted to make sure we spoke about it today. We were going to have the ref on, but maybe we'll have him on the next show because talk about VAR and what it did for Tottenham in the Champions League, maybe what it didn't do for us in the Premier League. I'm very much against the fact that VAR has been used in some competitions, not others. Amanda, I'm not sure if I should get the soapbox out for you or Kevin right now, but I'm going to put it out there in the online air. So feel free to step on it and let us know your thoughts on this whole VAR situation.
Look, I don't like VAR, but I do. It's I don't want it for penalties because everyone argues about penalties non-stop. I just want it for factual. Aguero was offside when that ball was kicked. Now, if this was Arsenal and we're in the Champions League in the last minutes and we were at the Etihad and there's no VAR, but we knew he was offside because it was shown later, how gutted would you feel? We'd probably feel slightly hard done by because it's Tottenham and we don't want them to go through, but that's irrelevant. He was offside. What I think VAR does, though, in a roundabout way, is ruins the game because you've got City going off ballistic thinking they're through. Everyone's run up the touchline. Everyone's on the floor. You've got Tottenham fans deflated in the seats. You then get VAR and it completely changes. To me, when I was watching football since the age of, God knows, 4 years old, can't we just play and have swings and roundabouts during the seasons with, things going for you and against you? It's football. Let the referee. I know it's hard. A ref gets a split second to see something and we're all screaming at him. I get it. Our linesman on the East End side on Sunday afternoon at Crystal Palace was absolutely appalling. I've honestly, I don't know who he was, but he was appalling. And I'm never against referees in that way. They do need help. I'm very, very split on VAR. I think it's ruining the game, but I think it's giving certain decisions the correct decision. So look, Kev, if you was a player, would you want to play with VAR?
Are you ready for this? No. No. Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
I get it.
And if you remember rightly, even with VAR, there's been some atrocious decisions that still have been upheld.
Yep.
So it's not the answer to everything. It isn't. And I think back in the day, the referees used to be able to referee the game properly.
Yeah.
And you didn't need VAR. Yeah, there'd be some controversial decisions, but you get on with it.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is about VAR, I don't think it's transparent enough. If there's these big screens in stadiums now, if they could do it a little bit like rugby and they could put it up there and everybody can see it for themselves, I think it will speed things up because fans will see, it was offside or it wasn't offside. Stuff like that. I mean, we could have done with VAR at Spurs where, Harry Kane was offside.
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that, where he claimed the penalty or whatever, and it was nowhere near. Stuff like that. I just don't like it. I think the referee relies too much on it now. I'm not having it whatsoever. I just want the game to be able to flow like it used to be and get decent officials to officiate the game. And if it needs more officials, get more officials.
Kev, I will say to you, and I get it, and I'm with you on that part, okay? I really understand. The problem you've got is when you're saying that upheld decisions, because they're opinion-based decisions, they're not factual, whether they're offside or not or anything. That's the problem. You look at Cardiff, Chelsea. If you'd have had VAR, they wouldn't have scored Chelsea. There was about 14 players offside. You know what I'm saying? So
that's right.
What do we do? I mean, I agree with Sophie.
Do we go back?
How disgraceful,
Amanda,
Sophie, that it's only in one competition or two competitions. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely.
It should be in everything or nothing until it's ready.
Yes.
What do we
That's
do?
right.
I'm a bit old school like Kev. Just play the game. Let the referees make mistakes. It happens. It's life. Football isn't perfection. The ball goes over the line slightly. Someone's slightly offside. It's football. This is now making it plastic. And I'm not for VAR in so many decisions, but maybe over the line technology, maybe just pure offside. Just do it for that. But I'm sick of the penalties because no one ever agrees anyway.
Yeah, but Amanda.
The NFL, sorry, Kev, in the NFL, there are only certain parts of the game you can replay. For example, I think you guys saw how the New Orleans Saints got hosed from getting to the Super Bowl this year on a pass interference call that couldn't be played because of the moment that it happened in the game, right? So I think that they need to 100% establish what is reviewable and what isn't. And the other thing to both of you is now we're moving forward with this new technology. But if we look past on history, can you imagine how many games, how many championships, how many relegation battles could have been determined by VAR? Do we go back in history and change time? I just think that there's always been this thing with football fans, Kevin, Amanda, where you go to the pub and you argue it out whether it was the right or wrong decision. But I think if it's your club, you react differently to it. Would you agree, Kev? You do react differently to it. Like if that happened to us, Tottenham v City, like you said, Amanda, we would have been, no, that was the right decision. If we were on the wrong end of it, that's not fair. And I think
no, of course. Look, Manchester United in the Champions League. Lad has a shot, it hits the guy's arm. Next minute, VAR, they get a penalty at PSG. That was madness. Now, it absolutely messed PSG up, but it lifted United. Okay? But it should be for the referee to make these decisions. VAR shouldn't make the decisions of a linesman, where a linesman's job is to be able to see along that line and call whether the players are offside or onside. And they're getting it wrong so many times. So does VAR do that? Does VAR do penalties? I don't agree. It should do penalties. That should be up to the referee.
Absolutely.
But an offside, fair enough, it can.
Yep.
So I think it needs to be limited at what it can do if it's going to come in.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. And, this debate's going to ensue. And boy, there's more twists and turns before the end of the season. And, again, something new that, fans have to get used to. I have a very, very quick question for you. 30 seconds to answer. We're going to talk about this a little bit more, maybe towards the end of the season before we get to our predictions against Wolves. I loved you guys. We've all talked about how when it comes to racism, unless you're deducting points from teams, no one is going to put it on the line like that to bully people, to be disgusting, disgraceful, behave badly, if they put their team in jeopardy to win a title or get relegated. Raheem Sterling today came out. I can't remember if it was an interview in the Times or the Telegraph. The way I'm saying it's probably the Guardian. But anyway, he came out and said, you've got to deduct teams 9 points. I was just thinking 3. Raheem's come up, because he's been on the end of this disgusting abuse and said 9 points. If you are in the stands and would that make you think twice? What do you guys think about what Raheem said? 30 seconds.
Go on, Amanda. I'll go after.
I'm a massive fan of Raheem Sterling. Massive fan. When he left Liverpool, I don't think he left in the right way on what he said. But what he's done generally for his I don't know. I tweeted about it. I just think he's gone up so much in my estimations. And do you know what? Make it right. Make there a point deduction. Make there something, because it's absolutely disgusting. You know what they have to go through. Every team has some sort of different race, different everything in it, and they are going through hell playing on a football pitch. It is an absolute joke, and I think Raheem Sterling should be applauded for coming out. I really do, and standing up for it. And you know what? I mean, you've got to look at Lacazette and Aubameyang. Every team suffers with it. What are these idiots? I'll tell you what it is, shall I? They're standing tall at the moment. I'm not going to go into politics on here because I won't do that. But they're standing tall at the moment because they think they can. They've been given a right because of certain things that happen in this country and countries around the world. And now everything, all the racism that was put to bed, I know people still think it was always there. What they only have to go through is absolutely disgusting. And I'm telling you now, if I hear it around me or any game I'm at, they're going to know about it. I am so angry. But what he's doing, Sterling, is brilliant. I'm sorry. I think he's brilliant.
Kev?
Well, I second that. I think Raheem Sterling, nobody really saw him as a goal-getter like that to be able to come out and do these things. But, you know, he's been on the end of some nastiness on the pitch and off the pitch in the tabloids, in the media as well.
Yeah, they've gone for
stuff that hasn't been nice to him, you know, where he's done kind acts and they've made it out to be wrong.
Yeah.
He's been compared at one stage. He got compared to another player. He done a good deed, and the player done a similar deed, and his deed was made out to be like he was Flash, where, you know, it was terrible. It was a black player against a white player. So to be able to come out and speak up is brilliant. But there still begs the question, what is the authorities going to do about it? Deducting points is brilliant, perfect. Is it going to be 9 points? I mean, we were involved in the Battle of Old Trafford and got done points, and luckily still won the league. So if you're going to deduct points, then managers are going to have to recheck. Clubs are going to have to recheck. These races are going to have to recheck themselves, because at the end of the day, they love their football club, and they wouldn't want to. They wouldn't want to be the people who make their club get deducted points. But let's look at the authorities. What are the authorities actually doing? Have they actually come out and has the Premier League actually come out and said anything?
No.
After all these incidents,
and they won't.
And why won't they?
Because
this is what we're talking about. So, you know, this will just go and go and go. If I was having the same crap when I was playing, I've got a son in it now. I don't want him to be going through the same crap, but he will, because the authorities will not do anything. It's not the talking, it's the doing that matters.
What do you want them to do, Kev? What do you want them to do?
I'd love them to say, look, there's going to be a zero tolerance policy within. Look, one thing football can't do is cure and change society.
No.
But I tell you what it can do. It can make racism-free zones, football clubs, racism-free zones. And if anybody is doing or being racist, they're going to come down with the harshest punishment. And if it's proven, you're going to get done 3 points. And the second time you get done 6 points. And the third time you get done 9 points. There you go. So it's an escalating thing, because there could be just one idiot doing it or one group doing it. And 9 points may be a bit severe, maybe. But it can be an escalating thing. if it continues.
Just kick it out, though. That's the whole thing, isn't it? Do you know what? People need to grow the fuck up and show some respect. You know,
let me tell you,
everyone's human. I'm sorry, Soph. Everyone's human, right? We all bleed the same. It just pisses me off so much that forget only football. What goes on around generally? I just don't get people. You are a dickhead if you're a dickhead, regardless of what colour, race, or religion you are, and stop acting like one and show some respect. And big up to Raheem. And honestly, he's one of my favourite non-Arsenal players this year. He really is. I've got a lot of respect for him.
Amanda, I'll tell you what else as well, ladies. The fans play a big part in all this.
Huge.
If this is going to get administered in football stadiums, because if these idiots are going to be being racist, the fans have to tell the authorities or tell the stewards, there he is, here's the one.
Oh, Kev, trust me, I would do it.
I know you would, Amanda, but, you know, we're talking about up and down the country here, and sometimes it might be in Europe here.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you remember, was it last week? There was an Arsenal fan being racist to Koulibaly.
Yeah.
For Napoli.
Yeah.
And he was an Indian.
Yeah, and that does not make any sense to me, Kev. I don't get.
But that sums up, that actually does sum up, because there is a racist caste system in India.
Yeah, that's right, there is.
I don't know if you remember, Iwobi got abused by this actress who was supposed to be an Arsenal ambassador. She called him a monkey or something like that. I don't know if you saw that earlier on in the season. But yeah, there was uproar about that. But, you know, she said she was only joking or didn't know what she said or whatever. But we know it's all black. So the fans do play a massive part in all this, in rooting out these people.
Why do you think if there's a gay player in the Premier League and he won't come out? Are you kidding me? Like, why on earth would anyone do that? Now, they've done it here in the US. You know why, guys? I go to MLB games, NFL games. I go to MLS every week. I cover LA Galaxy. You know, all the major sports, hockey. If you say things in the stands at any of these venues, there is zero tolerance for it. Someone will report you. You know why? There's either kids around. I had a mate of mine who came from England and he was at a hockey game and he thought he could kind of chant and sing the way he could at a football game. And he quickly realized that that wasn't the case.
Yeah, that's off limits. Yeah.
Yep, off limits, got tossed out. There is no tolerance for any of that, because exactly what Kev said, the people around you will not accept it. They just will not. Now, does it get heated? Absolutely. Do fans have a go at each other? Yes, especially in ice hockey and stuff like that. But it's down to the fans as much as it is the authorities to catch it. And then, of course, the Premier League has to take a bigger stance. And Raheem Sterling, for me right now, is really growing in maturity. And, you know, people want to talk about Harry Kane being the face of English football and the face of the England team. Maybe the FA should look no further to Raheem Sterling being the refreshing new face of football in England, because he is putting his reputation, he's putting himself on the line. I'm not saying in the same way Colin Kaepernick did, because he's not taking a knee. But I tell you, Raheem will have the balls one day to just walk off the pitch. And it will come. Next time it happens, Kevin, I think he will walk off the pitch. I do.
Not in a million years.
To make a stance, he will.
Not in a million years.
I reckon he will, because it's going to take either that or he says to Pep before, I'm not playing, here's why.
Not in a million years.
And people will support it. I think it will happen. It happened in America. And I'm telling you something right now, England's a little bit behind the curve when it comes to stuff like this. And those players look to American sports people. That's what I think. That's my opinion.
Which players refuse to play?
No, I'm saying he will by choice refuse to play to make a stance.
He won't.
I think he might.
He's already said it. What? Let me just tell you something
Hasn't
about.
been pushed far enough yet, and trust me, some idiot will.
Right.
Let me tell you
Kev
something.
speak.
Let me tell you something. Just let me tell you something about how it is to be getting this racism when you're in football. The best way isn't to, because if you walk before you refuse to play, the racists have won. Think about that for a minute. The racists have done what they're supposed to do in their head, is to get you not playing. They've won. So what happens is you go out there, you roll your sleeves up, and you beat their team. That's what you do, and that will beat the racists every time. But
even Darren Lewis from the Mirror said that they should consider walking off. Like, he's written some really great articles on this.
Darren Lewis ain't a player.
No,
He's
I know.
a journalist.
But it's about taking a stance. It's more than football at that point. It is about, it's about more than football. If I'm at work, Kev, and someone is abusing me, and I'm in an office and I'm in the conference room and I'm doing a presentation, and someone is berating me for my lifestyle or who I am walking out that conference room, super cool, with my head held high, and I will sit down and say, you know what? No, I am not accepting that behavior. It's going to take something like that.
Unfortunately, Sophie, we're talking about, and I don't want to, listen, in the workplace, and I know football's the workplace, but it's different. It is different. We've already seen non-league teams walk off the pitch because one of their players have been abused, and they're the one in trouble with the FA.
That's what it will take.
So it don't work.
Right,
doesn't work.
Can I just jump in here?
Players have to get out there, play, and the authorities, because all we're doing is passing the buck again, the authorities have to deal with it.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amanda, go on.
If I have to disagree with you, Soph. If I was in a meeting and someone did that, I wouldn't walk out. I'd go up to his face and show him up in front of everybody, because Kev's right. You don't walk away from it, because then they win. So the players can't walk off the pitch. What the players have to do is go and score and stand in front of that person and go, thank you very much. Now look who's the fool. Because there's acceptance of certain things that go on at football. There's banter, then it crosses the line into so many things that are wrong. And you know what? I do wish a gay footballer would come out. I really, really do. But I understand why they don't. Oh my God, why would they? The abuse they would get. But I just feel in this day and age, as I said before, certain things going on in the country and abroad that are allowing them to feel it's okay to racially abuse players and fans. I mean, it is disgraceful. And I'm hoping, as we all do, that it comes to an end very soon. But unless the authorities take a very strong stance on this, I can't see it ending. And I'm with Kev on this, I'm afraid. You have to stand up to them. It's like a bully. You don't walk away from a bully. You stand up to them and then show them for what they are, a disgusting human.
I don't think walking away is not being strong and standing up. It's a different stance. And maybe that comes from my background and kind of what I've been through and my learning lessons. So, and not something that I want to go into right now, but I've just learned that sometimes walking away does help yield different results.
Unfortunately,
so
I'm not. I agree with you, Soph. I'm not that sort of person that would ever walk away. I have to I have to right the wrong. But I know people that do walk away and tell me to do it often. But unfortunately, it's not my nature. I have to make that wrong right, and they have to see that as well. People have to learn, okay, because they're flipping ignorant, and it pisses me off.
And what you got to remember is this. Let's just say a fan abuses Raheem Sterling and he walks off this week. Yeah?
Yeah.
Sophie?
Yeah, I'm listening.
The next game, what do you reckon somebody's going to do?
Of course, could get him walk off.
I think there has to be.
He's been City's best player.
Not if that team gets deducted 3 points.
No, but they're not getting any deductions. The FA and all that, what have they done? They're doing nothing.
Not right now, they're not.
They're doing nothing.
But actions force organisations into having to make decisions. And that's where I'm coming from.
They haven't done it.
Yeah, but Kev, who are the FAs going to do it? Is there anyone of colour there? Is there anyone of different race there? It pisses me off. Put me in there. I'll tell you, I'll sort it out. I wouldn't have anyone in the grounds doing this.
And again, we're talking about these big, giant administrations and organisations, and where are the people of colour in there?
That's what I mean. There we go. That's my point.
Exactly. There ain't. No. So while this is going on, they don't feel anything.
No, of course they don't care.
They don't care. So that's why you don't see anything being done. That's why. Do you remember Nicholas Bentner wore an advertising thing of a betting company, and he got fined more than clubs who were being racist.
Exactly.
So that tells you everything.
Money talks.
That's
what it's all about.
That's down to Raheem Sterling. This is why Raheem Sterling has become the face of racism in English football. And he is, no matter whether people like it or not, he's become the Colin Kaepernick. And Raheem has all the power now. He can make changes. He is that important to English football. I commend him for being really brave.
Sophie.
And yeah, I think he can do a lot of great things. And I think with some smart decisions, he can change things. He can help change things. He's too powerful not to.
Sophie, I would love to agree with you. I think what Raheem Sterling's doing by coming out and speaking has been fantastic. But we're talking about these big organisations that are all white. Unfortunately, they're all white.
We started.
It's a strong, confident black man like Raheem Sterling to try and change that white suit perspective, and it's happened in society slowly, much slower than any of us would ever want, and it's happened for the gay community, the black community, the Asian community, the Jewish community. There's someone fighting for the leadership of the country right now in England who says horrible things about the Jewish community. It's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm just saying that we need to be very strong in our convictions these days, because it's going to take regular people and people like Raheem Sterling in the spotlight to be able to be brave enough to stand up to this kind of stuff. And I agree with Kev. Systematically, we have a problem. And until that changes, it's going to be tough. But I believe that he can help make that change.
But we started off talking about Raheem Sterling, and we need to finish on Raheem Sterling, because big up to him. Honestly, and also not only this, what a player he's become. Forget that side now. What a player he's become, and honestly, he's
world class.
He is. And you know what? He's done it very quietly at City. He's just got on with his game, and all the nice things he has done. Thank God the public are starting to see that, because there's a lot of players, they get abused for having a cigarette or being in a nightclub, but they don't know what they do for charity. I've heard such lovely things lately, I'm not going to publicise it on here, of what players have done. And I just think, do you know what? I wish this was in the press. Why can't we have...
But a lot of the time, as you know, Amanda, the players don't want the press to be on it.
But you know what? I understand that, because they're not doing it for that. But it just would be nice for the press. Why can't we have a country where the press are nice? Good news does sell, We don't want to read rubbish news and fake news the whole time about this one dropping drunk out of a nightclub. Well, I'm not being funny. Can you imagine if social media was around when Tony Adams was playing? Oh my God. Could you just imagine the Tuesday Club being on Twitter or Instagram or, on Snapchat, for God's sake. You lot wouldn't have survived. And that's the thing though, but we still won trophies and then we still played well. And, we're human beings and people need to respect everybody on this planet. For God's sake, grow up. It pisses me off. Honestly, I'm telling you now, Kev, if I hear it anywhere at football, if I hear it in the street, if I hear it in my office, anywhere, I'm straight on it. Anywhere, wherever anything happens. Yeah.
But everybody should have that attitude, Amanda.
But it's quite hard,
then
though,
the world
Kev.
will be a better place.
Absolutely, but it's a scary place as well. And some people don't have the courage to do it, I just feel that I just want to big up Raheem Sterling, and let's just move on now, because we have to go, because it's been such a long pod, but it's been worth it. We've got a couple of interesting games coming up. Let's do some predictions, okay? We've got Wolves away, Leicester away. Kev, give me your Wolves prediction.
I'm going to predict 2-1 Arsenal. Arsenal have to win.
No, okay. Is that your prediction of what you want or what you think's going to happen?
No, that's the prediction. Arsenal have to win. I think they're going to win 2-1.
Right, okay. Soph?
I think it's going to be 2-2 tomorrow.
Oh, my
Sorry.
God. That's what I was saying. Exactly the same. That's exactly what I think, 2-2. I don't think we've got it in us, but I do think we've got it in us to score. So that's great. Right, next one up, because I don't think we'll do a pod before then, is Leicester. Kev?
Oof, they've been playing pretty well, haven't they?
Yes, so
I still think Arsenal are going to win.
Okay.
I think Arsenal are going to win, because I think, look, we're getting down to business end. Emery can't afford to mess around. He's got to play the strongest team. And we've gone to Leicester before and done a number on them. So I'm going to say Arsenal win the game 3-1.
Okay.
Confident. I'm going to be confident on these two.
Funny enough, on this one, I've gone 3-2 Arsenal. Soph?
3-1 Arsenal. We do really well against Leicester. In fact, in the season that they won the league, we were the only top 5 team to beat them twice. And we beat them that wonder head. Do you remember when Welbeck scored that header and we thought we were going to win the league?
Oh.
Lastminute.com, yeah.
Last minute on Valentine's Day. Never forget that one.
But Leicester have been resurgent under Rodgers. They're definitely a different team. They've beaten Burnley, they've beaten Bournemouth, they've beaten Huddersfield. And they lost to Newcastle and they drew at West Ham. So look at the teams they've played, you guys. They've not really come up that big a quality. So I fancy us against the team that we generally do well in. Wolves game tougher for me. Leicester, I fancy a win.
Though, on our day, we can beat anyone. We can. On our day. If we're on it, thank God Socrates is back. Oh, by the way, Soph, I've been teaching everyone how to say his name properly.
Thank you.
Are you impressed?
The people say yes, because if I hear Socrates one more time, I may ring that bell just to piss you and Kevin off again.
Socrates.
Don't bother me.
Not much does, Kev. Not much does.
I'm telling you.
Well, it's been a topsy-turvy season, isn't it? We're coming to the very big business end of it now. It's exciting. We're going for top 4. We're going for the Europa League. We've got Valencia, my God, soon. And you know what? It is football. I'm not looking forward to VAR next year for so many different reasons, as we've discussed. But we're going to have to run with it because it's coming in. So, boys and girls, I think we need to say goodnight. And thanks to everyone for listening. We love all your tweets, and we're on YouTube.
Keep coming.
Twitter and Soph, you do that bit. You tell everyone where we are.
Well, look, I forgot to do everyone's question, so we're going to answer them on Twitter because we had such a good chat with Adrian, and when you get a tactician like that in the house with another player in you, there's not much time for much else. So we'll answer everyone's questions over Twitter.
Okay.
So yes, we love them, and find us on Highbury Squad on Twitter and Instagram. We share our predictions, videos. And, we're excited about this season, but I think we're also really excited about what's coming next season too. And some more really fantastic guests coming up between now and the time we win Europa League.
Oh, listen to you.
Serious. By the way, if Chelsea and Arsenal do get to Europa League final, don't you think they should change the final to London? What's the point in sending everyone to Azerbaijan?
Because I think, I discussed this with other people, is that they've bid for it, I think, or something. I can't remember. But I don't think they can do it. And it's a joke.
Fine.
It's a joke, isn't it?
Remember when United and Chelsea went to Russia?
Yeah,
so that's right.
It's a joke, isn't it? You know what? Seriously? I can't even get that. I can't even go there.
That would be really frustrating. Yeah. As long as we get to the final, We'll go anywhere, right, Amanda? Because why?
Because we're always Arsenal.